Africa is on the cusp of a technological revolution, undergoing a significant transformation driven by digital technologies and the rapid spread of the internet, mobile technologies, emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, drones, and blockchain is changing the economic, social, and political landscape in the continent. To revolutionize Africa's economy, the continent needs to leapfrog digital transformation by embracing digital solutions and bypassing traditional infrastructure limitations to propel the economy forward. This was the fulcrum of conversations at the 4th edition of Africa Tech Alliance Forum 2024, themed Leapfrogging Digital Transformation for the Future of Africa's Economy, held in Lagos. Peter Oluka, the co-convener of AfriTech 4.0, outlined the key drivers for tech revolution in the continent as economic transformation requires a multifaceted approach.
Looking at a lot of variables, this year we have, recently we've seen a lot of young people trying to, jump to the ship and leave the shores of the continent. And we're looking at what can we do to train our people, retain them, and develop our continent. Okay, if we say, we want to gain forex through human capital exports. So what kind of skills are we exposing them to? And those skills, how relevant are they in the world economy? And we know that infrastructure is key to do that. A young person who does not want to travel abroad, but because of opportunities, we don't have enough jobs here. But this young person has an opportunity abroad, and I want to work for companies abroad. Even though I'm here, I'm going to pay taxes here. I'm going to contribute to the economy because I'm here. But you can't do that because of the infrastructure. So what can we do? So there need to be a conversation around, deepening our infrastructure deployment to see that the services are evenly distributed. We are saying that most young people are migrating to the urban centers. We're having housing issues. We are having, environmental issues because a state like Lagos is overpopulated. You go to some places in other parts of Africa, it's discovered that the urban cities are being populated. Is it not possible for someone to be in the rural areas and work for companies in the city?
While extending goodwill messages, Ajibola Olude, the Executive Secretary, Association of Telecommunications Companies of Nigeria, ATCON, who represented Tony Izwegwe Emokpere, the president of the association, emphasized that Africa should harness technology to drive productivity across the continent.
It is time for Africa to harness technology to drive productivity, innovation, and economic growth. ATCON is committed to supporting this transformation.
Bolahon Awonuga, the Executive Secretary, Association of Licensed Telecommunications Operators of Nigeria, representing Benga Adebayo, the president of the association, highlighted the lag in terrestrial infrastructures across Nigeria and called for more support from the government.
We've seen what has been happening even in Nigeria, trading here and there, startup, AI, and the rest of them. This is in preparation for us, fixing into that revolutionary space. But are we really ready? That is the question. After all the trainings, after all what we have gotten, where are we going to be? Are we going to be practicing in Nigeria? Or we're going to export those talents out? I would say the Nigerian governments are trying. But before you can say you want to digitalize, there are something that are driving it. The backbones of every digitalization is telecoms. But that telecoms that we are talking about is being neglected.
During the panel sessions, stakeholders shared expertise on financial inclusion, blockchain, cybersecurity, opportunities and challenges associated with digital revolution in Africa.
When we see fintech innovates really well when they partner, and the power of partnership, the things that we see happen is that you are leveraging on the strength of every partner that is collaborating to be able to bring forth very great innovation. So innovation that is driven by partnership is where we see the fintech become really effective.
We all know that for financial inclusion, you said we want everyone to be able to access finances, to be able to make money. And we are saying that QNet is doing this direct selling approach to business. And what is direct selling? Now, you don't need to have a shop, you don't need to have initial capital. All you need to do is full understanding of the product that you're marketing.
Some African nations that we have, what we have actually done in Nigeria did not even start at all. So if you are doing transaction in those environments, that means that you could think you're expecting promises, but it could be peril in danger. So those are some of the things that we really need to do to ensure that the world of cybersecurity, going beyond cybersecurity, let's also take the parent name, which is information security. That's to do with people, tangible and intangible. Ensuring that whether you're Francophone speaking, whether you're English speaking, everybody must come to the table that we need to first protect our assets. And the greatest asset you can ever have is the people asset. Forget about technology.
On record keeping, we have an issue with record keeping here. But when you have data solutions on the blockchain, it's reduced, in fact, it takes away alterations. So that's one way it can help. It brings accountability, it's transparent. You go on Etherscan, you can as well see the same data you're seeing here on the next region. So that goes a long way.
For any country to develop, you need education. What China did and the rest of the world is education. India invested in education when they created the India Institute of Technology. Right now their budget annually is around $1.something billion just for the India Institute of Technology. And almost all the key guys you see in America, the CEOs of these technology companies, are usually from those schools. So they intentionally did that. And when the industry in India starts to grow, some of them is now reverse Japan. People are going back. India has over 100 unicorns. When you say unicorns, new technology companies that are worth $1 billion, they have over 100. The entire African continent has only 7. And out of the 7, around 6 of them are in Nigeria. And based on this devaluation of Naira, I think 2 of them have gone, only 4 are left, the OB, the Flutterwave, and the rest. So it means that education, investment in education is what is critical for any society to grow. We are in information age. Unfortunately, Nigeria's budget this year is around 1.5 trillion naira on education, roughly less than $1 billion. If you look at South Africa, South Africa's budget, which has 60 million people, is around $18 billion. 18 times what Nigeria is spending when it comes to education. If you look at the index of the percentage of the budget Nigeria spends, we are lower, we are not on the top 10, even in Africa. There is a benchmark by UNESCO where it says you need to spend at least 15% of your annual budget on education. Nigeria spends 5%.
With stakeholders calling on youths to be more involved in the tech industry, United Nations World Summit Awards, UNWSA finalists, comprising of innovative startups representing Nigeria by 2025, also showcased their inventions.
E-commerce, smart settlement and urbanization, green energy, education, heritage and culture, with inclusion and empowerment. And every year, if you go to the UN World Summit Award website for Nigeria, you probably will know that Nigeria has done so many other African countries in the last 18 years by having presented innovations from this country.
So I discovered a problem recently that exporters in Nigeria find it difficult to get their documentation done and also export their goods globally. So that was why I created a platform called Export Blog that connects local exporters with global buyers.
Really amazing, to be really honest, the transformation that is going on, especially on this continent, the African continent. I think it's like we're rising up. It's interesting to see pretty much the fact that we're closing the gap steadily. We've seen the outpour of talent, from the shores of Africa, to the other side of the world, and I'm talking about quality talent that we get really good feedbacks from. So the transformation has always been for maybe people going out, but now we can see people now even staying at home. We can see the remote industry here in Nigeria is going really well. There are loads and loads of talents working from Nigeria and all of that. So the transformation, I'll say digital transformation is starting well. I would just say it's in its starting phase, because for a person like me in the industry I find myself, I know that there is a lot of work to be done. There's still millions and millions of talents to be to be groomed up. There is a lot of work to be done. But for starters, I'm looking at the transformation where we were to where we are now. I think we're in this industry spanned off from the NGO space, helping people get into tech. I'm building Compass AI, an AI that helps people with personalized learning and all of that guidance. In simple words, if you're struggling to start a career in tech, there is an AI that could actually put you through, that could help you like from scratch, starting from giving a recommendation on a tech skill that features a person within just a 3-minute conversation with the AI, right? Just ask a question about your strengths, your interest and other things, and then recommend tech skills for you. It's also going to give you a roadmap, things to do at every step of the way, connect you with the mentors. We also have a line of amazing mentors on the platform as well. We're also partnered with a platform like Udemy Course Analyzing, so there are courses also already available.
Dr. Muhammad Aliyu Siraju, President of the Nigerian Computer Society, represented by the Deputy President, Dr. Charles Onyeko, encouraged the continuous development of expertise in IT careers to propel innovation in Nigeria and beyond.
We also have interest groups. Those interest groups are established. In fact, I call them experts. IT is large, very huge, and it's still evolving. Once we find people who are interested in one segment of IT, we give them encouragement to gather themselves there, so that if Nigeria or any person looks for a particular expertise in one area of IT, we know who to call and who to ask you to meet for solution to whatever problems you may have there. So we are on ground to do whatever is needful to make sure that this industry is growing and continue to grow.
Other stakeholders emphasize that for Africa's economy to be revolutionized, there is need for collaboration between the public and the private sectors.
Improving on our participation in tech industry in Africa is very important and germane. In fact, there is a lot of under-recognized tech companies in Nigeria, which through this platform they are being propagated a lot better. Like one of the platform that was discussed today, some of our young people who have been able to develop solutions in the financial sector, agri, and of course green energy sector. It's obvious that telecommunication takes the larger percentage of what is required for digital infrastructures. So if the telecom operators are shouting and saying and complaining that there are problems in that industry, I think our government needs to look deeply into it and ensure that we have stability in the telecom industry for us to be able to build the robust infrastructure that is needed. Today, a lot of companies cannot afford to have their own infrastructure in their offices. We rely on foreign organizations to keep our data. And when you talk about data protection, I mean, if all our data is there in the cloud, what protection do we have?
Has not been up to par per se in terms of development ever since the Industrial Revolution. But in the last few years, let's say in the last 10 to 15 years, technology has come to such a stage that anyone can grab it and make a difference for themselves and their own economies. And Africa is the next frontier. So it goes without saying that because there are no more hindrances, particularly to acquiring technology, altogether know-how and a transfer of technology, the future holds many great things for all of us, most definitely. it just always say that the legislator has not really leaned into this direct selling phenomenon. It started in the U.S. after the Second World War, spanned to Europe, and everybody knows about direct selling in Asia, but it came to Africa just about, maybe 15 to 20 years ago. Our authorities don't know much about direct selling, and even the general public is not very knowledgeable about this opportunity over here. So it's about time that they looked into it and voted into law some laws and some rules and regulations that could help determine the status of all those who are involved in this industry, so that at least every category would get enough protection, and in the end it would be to the benefit of everybody.
Interesting time in Africa where it's really the time for us to be heard. It's time for us to take advantage of all of the opportunities that are available to us. And a lot of young people are already taking a lot of these opportunities, and actually it's brilliant to see what AfriTech is doing, providing a platform where some of these young people are able to come and talk about the solutions they are providing and what they are doing in the technology space. So fintech is the thing, and like someone said, if we are really going to make any headway, then we better go fintech. So really, as we are right now, it's really the time for these young people to be heard, these solutions to be seen, and actually for them to tap into all of the opportunities that are available.
The African Economic Outlook 2024 report highlights the continent's resilience in the face of global challenges, with average growth projected to stabilize at 4.0% in 2024 to 2025. And the adoption of digital technologies will drive innovation, entrepreneurship, and job creation, thereby boosting the economy across the continent.
For more on well-researched and balanced stories, events, and interviews across business, tech innovation, and lifestyle, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel, www.youtube.com/digivationnetwork.